truth is an odd thing. It is something people strive for, but when they get it, it's often nothing but painful. That raises the question, why pursue the truth at all? That's simple. Because it's the truth. Objective fact will always be, regardless of your own perception. It's inevitable that the truth will come to light in the end. It's meaningless to fight against it, so it's better to accept it as soon as possible, before your delusion comes crashing down around you and you suffer for it. Even beyond that, it's best to actively work toward the truth. The longer you and others spend in darkness, surrounded by falsehoods, the longer you'll suffer. Any decent person would endeavor to prevent that. The truth I claimed to be pursuing in this trial was the secret behind Kojiro Nagusawa's murder. However, that was a lie. Every time I declared my intent to pursue the truth, I meant something else entirely. The truth I had been pursuing was one that stands above all others, an absolute fact this whole world has yet to understand. Despair is the only option. You, Hanamaki Hanagata, you are the other possible culprit.
Me? Masayuki, that's absurd!
How so? You share a room with Enigma, and Enigma was sent the letter that lured Kojiro's killer to the greenhouse. Therefore, it's possible you received that letter and went there on its orders.
Sure, that's possible, but I didn't go to the greenhouse. Masayuki, please stop delaying the trial with whatever this is. Regardless of what's theoretically possible, we both know I have an airtight alibi. I was in the kitchen at the time of the murder, just like you were.
I'll get to the alibi later. For now, we need to go down this line of questioning.
What do you mean later? Let's just get this over with already.
Yeah! I mean, this whole thing is so obvious!
It is? Who did it?
Marcus, wasn't it?
What the fuck? No!
That was the Kokoro thing?
I didn't do that either.
We're already getting off track. Masayuki, I understand being thorough. It's a principle I hold too, but I simply didn't receive that letter. Even if I did, I certainly wouldn't have followed it and walked into an obvious trap. Unless you have some reason to believe I attacked Kokoro?
No, you definitely had no part in Kokoro's attack.
Then why are you wasting our time with this?
Yeah, Masayuki, do you have something or not? I thought this was about the truth. Why are you stalling?
Isn't it obvious? He's trying to figure out some new angle to send us all into despair. We're this close to getting out. This close to being free of this horrible murder and all of the tragedy that came with it. He can't accept that. We can't keep giving him these opportunities. Let's vote.
How did Kojiro account for Enigma's roommate?
Sorry, what?
Kojiro needed to ensure his letter arrived at his target, the Enigma. However, since he wanted to ambush them, he couldn't give it to them directly. He also couldn't risk anyone else finding out about it, as that would create potential witnesses. For him to avoid these two pitfalls, his only option would be to deliver the letter to their room without their roommate being present. How did he account for that?
You're overthinking this. I had a shower that evening. He probably just delivered it then.
How would he know that?
We'd been in the pool, and with Monopengu's abrupt announcement, we didn't have time to shower and get the chlorine off. It's only logical.
Sure, but the exact time frame? Did he just guess?
I don't know. But I'm telling you, there is a logical explanation for what happened here.
There is, but it's not yours. Kojiro absolutely had a plan to account for his target's roommate. Much like everything else in this crime, it was meticulously thought out.
Then what was it?
Another letter. This one designed to lure the roommate out for some other purpose.
Another one? Like, not the one I wrote?
What I suspect is that Kojiro wrote a second letter, designed to lure the roommate to a second location. This would leave him free to send the original letter, the one Mamiko wrote, to his target.
2 letters, huh? That'd do it. It's a tried and tested method for murderers.
Unfortunately, though, there is no second letter. If there were, there'd be evidence of it, just like with the first.
There may be no evidence now, but going by the rest of the facts, it stands to reason that such a letter existed at some point. It becomes apparent when you think about our original letter.
The handwriting! That's why he had Mamiko write the letter. He needed 2 people's handwriting to differentiate the 2 letters.
Precisely. The fact the letters are different would give Kojiro plausible deniability should they both be discovered.
Ah, I see. If the letters were discovered, he'd have an effective scapegoat in Mamiko. She'd have written the letter luring out the victim, and he'd have a letter addressed to their still living roommate.
But he made me write that letter. I could snitch on him.
You could, but the evidence would let you down. He could claim that you were lying, and he'd have a witness to back him up.
A witness?
The roommate. Had his plan been executed successfully, he'd have scheduled a meeting with the victim's roommate, presumably at a time that would provide him an alibi. He would commit the murder at midnight, then thanks to his preparation, he'd swiftly dispose of the murder weapon and set up the locked room suicide. From there, he'd head downstairs and attend his meeting with the roommate, giving himself an alibi.
How would that give him an alibi? He'd still have a window of opportunity to go to the greenhouse, would he not?
Yes, but a very small one. It'd be much the same as our alibis. The window of time to commit such a murder and set it up so intricately would make it impossible for him to attend the meeting in time.
It was really that well set up?
No, that's the point where we catch him. Once we figured out the greenhouse was never truly locked, we'd know it could have been set up in advance. His alibi goes out the window and Kojiro would have been found guilty.
If only it were that simple, huh?
It seems instead that something went wrong in Kojiro's plan.
If that was his plan at all. Honestly, Masayuki, I don't know how many times you want me to say it. There was no second letter. And there definitely wasn't a meeting with Kojiro. If there were, I'd have told you all. I'd have nothing to gain by hiding that.
You might if you were the murderer.
No, that's wrong. It would indeed be in her best interest to reveal the letter as soon as she found it. Just her having it would implicate the Enigma over herself, as it'd prove they were the one Kojiro targeted.
I get it. If Hanamaki got Kojiro's letter, Enigma would have received Mamiko's, therefore implicating them as the killer.
So the second letter would solve everything.
It would. Unfortunately, it's as Hanamaki says. This key piece of evidence doesn't seem to exist.
I don't quite understand why you're agreeing with me so much.
I'm not here to accuse you, Hanamaki. I'm here to bring the truth to light. If those two objectives happen to line up, then...
Clearly, they don't. Look, we've done as you've asked. We've explored the possibility. I'll agree the second letter was likely part of Kojiro's plan, but we can't prove it even exists. We're better off just discounting it for now. I admire your drive to see things through, but surely this is the end? There's nothing left to expose.
Great. You've wasted everyone's time on Schrodinger's bloody evidence.
Are we finally voting? I'm so tired of all this trial stuff.
What about her alibi, Masayuki? Didn't you say you had something about that?
Yes, seems with our current circumstances, that's the only way left to go. Hanamaki, would you mind repeating what your alibi is?
Huh? You should know. It's the same as yours.
It is? I've forgotten it already!
Honestly, this trial's gone on for so long. It kinda slipped my mind too. It wouldn't hurt just to get it out there again one more time, would it, Hanamaki?
Okay, but this is the last time. I don't like repeating myself so much. Our alibi is that we were in the kitchen around the time Kojiro was murdered. As we all know, Kojiro was shoved through the greenhouse wall at 12:08, creating a loud shattering noise. This also allowed the killer access to the greenhouse, which we assumed was locked at the time. Given it takes 5 minutes to travel from the greenhouse to the kitchen, the killer would have had to break in, kill Kojiro, hang his body and clean up, and then travel back downstairs, all in the span of 5 minutes. Obviously, that'd be physically impossible. Therefore, no one who was in the kitchen could have killed Kojiro Nakusawa.
So, the killer met Kojiro outside and shoved him through the wall. That's when they entered the greenhouse?
Yes, that's been established for a while now.
What if that wasn't when they entered the greenhouse? What if that was when they left instead?
Huh? That's not
We
what-
know now that the greenhouse was unlocked. Therefore, the killer didn't need to break in. It's possible then that the shattering sound was instead Kojiro being shoved out of the greenhouse.
What are you doing? That's your alibi too!
No way. Again? He's destroying his own alibi again!
You never cease to make things interesting, do you, Masayuki?
Oh, come on! I thought we were nearly done!
We are nearly done! Masayuki, where's your evidence? You can't just come out and claim all of our alibis are false off the back of clever reframing of the facts. Your manipulation isn't coming out on top this time.
Manipulation. Ironic coming from you. You've been trying to rush this trial to an end this entire time. Is it because you were scared of this coming to light?
Scared? I'm not scared of anything. I'm just sick of you.
You really hoped you'd get away with it, didn't you?
You're full-on accusing me now. Really? There's no evidence. The greenhouse was obviously broken into. The glass is all on the inside.
No, that's wrong. Think about the body. Doesn't it seem to contradict the crime scene? It had a wound on the back of its head, one that couldn't be created if Kojiro was pushed into the greenhouse and onto the soft grass, but one that could easily have been made if he was shoved out of the greenhouse and onto the hard deck.
Hold on!
Then there's the glass in his back. We know his plan was to assault his victim from inside the greenhouse. It'd make no sense for him to leave and give up his strategic vantage point, as you suggested in your accusation of Enigma. It only makes sense if the conflict took place inside of the greenhouse, ending with him being shoved outside of it.
That does make more sense. It finally explains Kojiro's injuries.
Yep. If it happened that way, the lacerations and head injury line up perfectly.
Then without an alibi, the killer has to be Hanamaki.
Hold on! You're not seriously thinking that!
Miss Hanagata? I'd never expect.
The evidence is compelling.
No! I would never! I could never even dream of doing something like that!
Of course you could! It's human nature! The sanctity of value of life goes straight out the window in the face of this kind of psychological distress! Anyone could turn into a killer under these circumstances.
8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48.
I don't want to believe it, but under these circumstances, Hanamaki, aren't you the only person who could have done it?
No, that's wrong. I'm not. There's someone else that everything we've said so far applies to. Masayuki Daiju.
With Hanamaki's accusation, realization struck me all of a sudden. I damned myself. I had grown complacent and shown my hand too quickly. Only now I realized the web I had become caught in, and how it was slowly tightening into a cage around me. Instantly, it became clear how things would play out going forward. It was already over. I no longer had any chance of winning this trial.
Oh, come on. Accusing your accuser? That's the oldest trick in the book that never works.
No, I'm serious. Everything he's saying about me applies just as much to him. He has no alibi anymore, just like me. His roommate can't vouch for him, just like me. And could he not have been Kojiro's target? He was right next to Kokoro when the attack happened. Wouldn't it be logical for Kojiro to conclude Masayuki did it?
Wait a minute. You're right.
But why would he reveal everything about this crime if he did it? He's not stupid. I think we can all agree on that, at least.
It wouldn't be stupid at all. If he just tells the truth, all of his arguments are legitimate. He simply reveals the facts to us at his own pace and builds his own credibility. Then he can use that evidence to direct us all onto a scapegoat who fulfills the same criteria.
Ingenious. Very much something he is capable of.
And willing to do. Masayuki's goal is to make us all despair. If you vote wrong and condemn me to death, won't that be the greatest despair of all?
Hold on. Masayuki said he didn't want anyone to die.
He said it's not in his interest for anyone to die if they don't have to. If there's a reason he thinks it's necessary, like driving us all into despair, he's willing to put our lives on the line.
That's not fair. He didn't mean...
Didn't he? He's right there. Go ahead and ask him.
Masayuki, you don't want us all to die, do you?
I already made myself clear. I don't want you to die. I want you to despair.
That doesn't help. Just say you didn't do it.
Why? I'm already being accused. Suspicion is being directed toward me in my every action. Protesting would at best be meaningless noise, or at worst incriminate me further. I'll let Hanamaki finish.
God, you're so... You could die here. Do you even care about that?
No, he doesn't. And he proved that when he incriminated himself the first time. Whether he lives or dies is secondary to achieving his objective. It's entirely possible this whole thing is a trick.
Perhaps the plan was to lure us all in. Create a narrative where we doubt him at first, then come to trust him, creating a sense of even stronger camaraderie and trust than if we had not believed him to begin with. Then, he would reveal the truth of this killing, making us turn on each other.
Then, one final twist of the knife. A vote. One where it's my life versus his, and you all have to decide.
Come on, isn't that a little too elaborate?
I think it's perfectly in keeping with the manipulation we've seen from him so far.
I can believe it. He's definitely smart enough for such a devious plan.
Right. And what's more is that it's just like the psychological profile. Opportunistic, intelligent, motivated to drive us all into chaos. Masayuki has been that way this entire trial. We know the nature of our killer.
That's also very true. I'd also be hard-pressed to align you with our psychological profile, Hanamaki.
Exactly! Even if we share the same evidence, there's things about this case that only line up if it was Masayuki. The letter, for example, why would I ever follow it? We've established clearly it would have had no leverage over me. But someone like Masayuki, someone seeking opportunities at every turn to spread his philosophy of despair, you think he'd pass that up?
Momentum was once again on Hanamaki's side. Her passionate words drew the class's hearts and minds toward her once again. Although our evidence was evenly matched, it was quickly becoming clear that our influence was not.
I understand what you're saying. Murder would only be a few steps up from the kind of sacrilege he espouses.
More than that, it'd be perfectly in keeping with everything else. Remember what he said about wanting us all to suffer?
There's even evidence tying him to the crime scene. The scraps of his jacket on the glass. Notice how he hasn't mentioned that once since Momiko brought it to light.
That's right! I nearly forgot about that.
You're telling me he broke my greenhouse wall? That bastard!
Hang on. It could have just as easily been the pajamas.
But didn't Miss Rain already point out that they were thicker?
They were.
Masayuki, I swear—
Relax, Ji-yeong. This is a fact. Those scraps on the glass were thicker, just like my jacket. Unfortunately, this isn't the definitive evidence Hanamaki wants you to think it is.
I know what you're gonna say, but sorry, this isn't going to be another cheap gotcha moment for you. I'll tell everyone myself right now. I borrowed Masayuki's jacket that night, but it was already ripped when he handed it to me.
It was what? His jacket? Why the hell did you have that?
Oh, yes, I suppose no one else knows.
I was only half-dressed and needed something to cover up with. I took Masayuki's jacket because it would blend in with the similarly colored pajamas.
Exactly. Therefore, you could have easily been the origin of those scraps in the greenhouse.
I did wear your jacket, but I promise you it was torn before I took it.
Do you have any evidence for that claim? Any witnesses?
I'm afraid I didn't look. I thought it would be inappropriate.
How? She was fully clothed once she put it on.
Did you notice any tears then, Mr. Dawson?
Well, I can't remember. I was too focused on you. I mean, your hand was cut open.
I can't say I noticed anything either.
Me too. I didn't even notice she was wearing Masayuki's jacket. The color blended in so naturally.
In that case, it's just as likely that you tore those scraps of my jacket after I gave it to you.
I swear, though, I didn't.
I'll continue to assert the opposite. My jacket was perfectly intact when I gave it to you.
That's fine. It seems you still have nothing to dispute my other points.
Those attacks on my character? No. I'm very aware of who and what I am. All I can do is assert that I didn't receive that letter.
Just like Hanamaki's doing. Are we getting anywhere with this?
Yes. Now that we're back to discussing the kitchen, there's a few more things I'd like Hanamaki to address.
Aside from borrowing your jacket, I really don't think there's much of note.
Why were you in the kitchen to begin with?
I was getting a glass of water.
A glass you then shattered. Quite conveniently, just after the shatter in the greenhouse.
What? Are you saying that was intentional?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I believe you intentionally shattered that glass as a means to distract from the shatter in the greenhouse, disguising the time of death.
Why the hell would I do that? I'd just be drawing attention to myself.
Attention that would then provide you with witnesses. Witnesses who would then give you an alibi.
Didn't we just establish there'd be enough time for the killer to go from the greenhouse to the kitchen? If I killed Kojiro, why would I waste my time making an invalid alibi?
It gave you an excuse to get the broom, which would be required to adjust the crime scene later.
I could have just gotten it anyway. No one was awake until the glass shattered.
Exactly. The greenhouse shatter woke people up. If they came to investigate, they'd have discovered you in the greenhouse. To that end, you needed a distraction to keep them away from the crime scene.
That makes logical sense, sure. But do you have even a bit of evidence? All you can prove is that I broke a glass in the kitchen. That doesn't tie me to the crime at all.
All right, hold it. We're just going in circles now. Hanamaki, breaking that glass is extremely suspicious, I'll admit. But we can't keep doing this he said, she said. There's no evidence. Now, is that everything you wanted to say, Masayuki?
No, I have another question. Hanamaki, why did you need to borrow my jacket in the first place?
I already said I was half-dressed. It's just how I sleep.
Wait, you were just walking around with no pants on?
Yeah, so what?
Nothing.
Hanamaki, you must be more careful exposing yourself like that. You don't know what lecherous eyes are on this ship. You need to keep yourself safe from the sinners.
That's... Masayuki, is there a point to this other than embarrassing me?
I think you didn't go to bed pantsless. I think you had to dispose of them after murdering Kojiro. That's why there's disparity in the fabric scraps. That's why Mamiko claimed they were thicker, but other people remember them being the same as our pajamas. If you ripped your pants when exiting the greenhouse, then ripped my jacket after returning from the kitchen, that disparity starts to make sense.
Do you have any of these scraps? Do you have even the slightest bit of evidence that I was ever wearing anything like that?
No, but they easily could have been left on the deck, then picked up and placed straight back into your closet after you finished with the corpse.
You're so frustrating, you know that? I can't technically disprove that, but it's not sound at all. Kokoro or Mamiko could be mistaken. No one saw me wearing pajama pants. This doesn't hold up to scrutiny at all.
Sounds a lot like the psychological profile and your theory about the letter. These are equally valid points.
It seems so. If neither of us have any material evidence left, I guess we're back to square one.
Back to just a guess, huh?
How are we supposed to tell who did it then? I mean, if all the evidence applies to you equally and there's suspicious stuff about both of you, how do we break the stalemate?
There is a way! The second letter, remember? If we can prove that it existed, that'll settle this once and for all.
Then whoever has it should just up and say it already! Reveal yourself!
I already said. I didn't receive any letters.
Neither did I.
Ji-yeong?
Why are you asking me? Obviously I didn't.
You're not lying to protect Masayuki, are you?
What? No! Why would you think that?
That's the real reason you went to the rec room, isn't it?
Hold on! What'd he do?
Ji-yeong was in the rec room all night, remember? That's why he could never vouch for Masayuki's alibi.
That's a little suspicious.
No, it's not! He already said it's because Masayuki was sleep-talking.
That could just be an excuse.
What do you want? Evidence? Was he supposed to record him sleeping or something?
It would make sense, though. He's been very invested in Masayuki this entire time.
Yeah, of course I am. We're friends.
Friends? Come on, when has he once acted like your friend?
Even if he is the way he is, I wouldn't lie to help him get away with murder. If I did that, I'd die too. Why would I do that?
That's right. You wouldn't do that.
Then what are you saying?
You don't think he did it. You, for whatever reason, believe in him, don't you? You genuinely think he didn't do it. Even after all he's done and all the evidence against him, you want to think he's a good person deep down. Because otherwise, you've failed as a manager. You've misjudged someone. Made a bad investment. Could you handle that?
That's not what this is about. You think I'd let my ego get in the way of a murder trial?
Did you think Kojiro would let his ego drive him to kill? We're all ultimates here, Ji-yeong. You said it yourself. Our talents are everything to us.
I promise you, I didn't receive any letter.
That's the same thing everybody else said. You can't all be telling the truth.
I swear, I had no idea about the second letter until Masayuki brought it up.
It seems we are at the stalemate once again.
We just need to let go of this second letter crap already. We can't base our entire case off a piece of evidence that doesn't exist.
What other choice do we have, though?
A leap of faith, like Hanamaki said.
That's all we have left? We have to pick between Hanamaki and Masayuki?
No! You have to trust me and vote for Masayuki. This is exactly the scenario he laid out to us earlier in the trial. The despair of holding our lives in his hands. He's led us all right back into his trap.
You've had just as much of a part in controlling the narrative of this trial as I have, Hanamaki. What else were your accusations against Mamiko and Enigma? Even subtly, you've been the engine running this trial, controlling where the conversation goes, switching subjects and taking the lead when it's most beneficial to you. We're the same in that regard, too.
I guess we really do just have to pick one or the other.
I know who has my vote.
Masayuki or Hanamaki? Masayuki or Hanamaki? Hanayuki or Masamaki?
Well, it seems we've reached the final part of our trial. If no one has anything left to say, let's get to voting!
What in the world are you laughing about?
Have they lost it?
I don't think they ever had it to begin with.
Hey, if there's something funny going on, at least have the decency to clue us all in.
I'm sorry. It's just so...
Damn it, out with it already!
I know something the rest of you don't.
Is that so?
Yep. I was so caught up in the show that I almost forgot to reveal it. I mean, wow. What a trial so far. Am I right? The way Hanamaki was all...
No, that's wrong. Masayuki's been tricking us this entire time.
And Masayuki was all...
I cannot confirm or deny I have been tricking you this entire time.
So stupid. When are you two gonna drop the acts already?
Act? I'm not acting. This is the truth.
Ugh, boring. You both keep yapping about the truth, but where is it? Everyone else here is freaking out and showing their true faces. What about yours? I mean, sure, you've both been giving big speeches this entire time. But come on, isn't it about time we see you really squirm?
What are you planning?
I have something that'll really push you two to the edge. The actual, total truth. It even comes with evidence.
Oh, come on! Are we really gonna listen to this creep?
Hold on. Let's hear what they have to say.
I agree.
The truth is, I was Kojiro's target. The second letter does indeed exist. I should know. I got it.
So Hanamaki is that?
Not finished. I received the second letter. It said the following. I have information about Kokuro's attacker. I think you'd be best suited to dealing with it. Please come to the rec room at 11:40 and wait there for 30 minutes. This can't be allowed to leak to other people.
The rec room?
So the second letter did lead to the rec room.
Yep. It was a fine enough distraction. Anyone would be curious about Kokuro's attacker. And the little compliment, I think you'd be best suited to dealing with it. Very sneaky. It'd pretty much get anyone to at least consider leaving their room.
Then that's what you did. You left the rec room, and Hanamaki received the other letter.
You'd think so, right? I mean, surely it just seems like an unlucky break. I got the letter meant for Hanamaki, and she got the letter meant for me.
But I didn't see you in the rec room.
I'm getting to that. Have some patience. We're getting to the big climax. Here's the thing. I don't care who attacked Kokoro. This letter didn't mean anything to me. Plus, it was so clearly a trick. You want someone to leave their room for 30 minutes at such a specific time? It was obviously part of a murder plan. And how could I let one of those happen without involving myself? So I waited. A little while later, I received the other letter, the one Mamiko wrote. Boy, was I lucky Hanamaki was in the shower at just the right time. I was able to snag both letters with her none the wiser.
You had both?
That means they ain't definitive evidence anymore. That only works if they were sent to two different people.
Oh, but they were. I mean, who would I be to get in the way of such a well-constructed murder plot? On the first night, no less. No, I made sure the letters were given to the right people. It was just a matter of who.
Oh my, you don't mean...
Yep, I redistributed the letters. I gave one to the killer who left it on Kojiro's body, and the other is on the person of someone in this very room!
What? The other letter is here! Right now!
Yes, indeed. The letter incriminating the killer is in someone here's pocket. Chances are they've already noticed it. Would the lucky contestant like to come forward?
Please don't be me, please don't be me! Come on, come on. Woo! I'm safe! My pockets are empty!
Me too!
Did you check under your helmet? What if they hid it in there?
What is with you all in my helmet today?
We don't all need to check our pockets, guys. There's still only a few people it could be.
It'll just be the people without alibis, won't it? Ji-yeong, Masayuki, Hanamaki, and Enigma.
And I doubt the Enigma will be too forthcoming.
That's right. It could be me. It could also not be me. You'll find out when the time is right.
It's not me. Look, all my pockets are empty.
That just leaves Ji-yeong and Masayuki.
Hang on. How can we be sure the Enigma's not lying here? This could all be made up.
Because there's evidence, and one of us three has it.
So hurry up and show it already.
That's not up to me, is it?
Ji-yeong floundered. It was already becoming apparent to everyone that he was the one with the letter. All eyes shifted from Enigma and onto him.
Ji-yeong, if you have it, just show us already. There's no use hiding it.
The only thing you're accomplishing is defending a murderer.
You don't know that he's a murderer. All the evidence points to Hanamaki just as much.
Why are you so unwilling to accept the possibility of Masayuki being the killer? Was Hanamaki right? Are you scared to admit you've misjudged him?
No! Of course not! I know damn well I misjudged him. I thought he was just a washed-up ex-ultimate who was down and needed a little help getting back on his feet. I didn't think he was him.
Then cough up the letter already. You can deal with all his despair stuff, but can't accept that he's a murderer?
I pitied Ji-yeong. He was engaging in the exact fruitless struggle I despised seeing the most. His hopes about me were tearing him apart. I wanted to put him out of his misery. I knew it would mark me as the killer, but the trial would continue inevitably in that direction anyway. There was no need for him to keep suffering. Ji-yeong.
What?
It's okay.
What are you saying all of a sudden?
Trust me. Just this once.
Trust you? After all this?
Please. We need to move forward in this trial eventually. You don't need to keep struggling. Ji-yeong's hands trembled as he looked at me. His eyes kept glancing downward as he agonized over the decision. I couldn't blame him. I wouldn't trust myself if I were him. And even then, there was a part of me that wanted him not to give in to my request. Unfortunately...
I have it. I swear I don't know how it got there, but the second letter is in my pocket.
Can you confirm what's written on it?
It's a summons to the rec room. It's worded exactly like Enigma said.
There you have it, folks! Masayuki Daiju is your killer!
You had the letter this entire time?
I didn't know I had until just now, I swear!
Aha! See? Just as I said. You followed the letter, and that's why you slept in the rec room.
That was just a coincidence. Honestly.
That's not very believable.
Aw, who cares? The headline here is that Masayuki did it.
It's like I've been saying this entire time. Masayuki and Ji-yeong received the letters. That's why Ji-yeong went to the rec room, and why Masayuki is without a doubt our killer.
I swear, I went to the rec room to sleep. I don't know how I got this letter.
Oh, come on. Isn't that lie getting tiring now? How else would you have gotten it?
I don't know.
What if someone planted it on him? Wouldn't that be possible?
When? We've been together this entire time. And he was alone in the rec room. No one had any opportunity.
That's true. The evidence is right there, Kokoro. Does it get more definitive than that?
Agreed. And Ji-yeong said from the start he was in the rec room.
Not to mention how defensive he's been from the start. Maybe he always knew he had the letter.
That is a reasonable motivation for him to be so defensive.
I can't dispute any of that more than I already have. I promise you, I only just realized I had that letter.
It explains why you were in the rec room a whole lot better than some sleep talking, though.
The trial spiraled immediately out of my control. The looks of everyone around me hardened in suspicion. Their opinions were crystallizing, their minds being made up. It was soon to be the point of no return, and I had no plan, no evidence, no way out. The noose was slowly tightening around my neck.
Well then, that all sounds pretty definitive. Let's start the vote, shall we?
No one protested. With a flourish of Monopengu's flipper, the wooden tops of our pedestals folded open, revealing a set of 16 buttons inside, each marked with our faces. They clearly lit up, but they hadn't begun to glow yet. I was given a moment. Just a moment before those buttons activated. My mind worked a million miles an hour, every synapse firing to find some way out, some way to claw myself from the edge of execution. Every scrap of information, every tiny shred of evidence, every word said throughout this long, excruciating day. All of them ran through my mind, every letter of every word scrambling together until finally, I saw it clearly. What about Ji-yeong's dream?
His what?
Ji-yeong said he had a dream when he was asleep in the rec room. Isn't that right?
How does this have any relevance? Whether he fell asleep or not isn't the issue. The fact he went there at all is enough to incriminate you.
Hold on, let him talk. I remember this dream story.
My dream? It's what I told you this morning. I was in the rec room and I saw a hooded figure looming over me, reading something.
Sound familiar? A hooded figure reading something. That was you. The ultimate enigma.
Then they did have a chance to plant the letter on him. It was after he arrived at the rec room.
Meaning he wasn't lured there at all. He went there of his own accord.
Hold on! Enigma being there means they followed the letter's instructions!
That's right. It's my belief that Enigma did in fact follow the letter's instructions and head to the rec room, meaning the remaining letter went to you, Hanamaki Hanagata.
Don't turn this on me like that. You can't just write off such conclusive evidence with a story like that. Ji-yeong had the letter. We can't believe a dream over the actual physical evidence.
The way I see it, we're in opposite situations. You have evidence against me, but it's contradicted by the testimony. Ji-yeong has a physical letter, but the events surrounding him obtaining it render it untrustworthy. On the other hand, I have no evidence against you, but Enigma's movements that night clearly indicate they acted as the second letter's recipient, meaning that you received the original. Ultimately, both arguments are incomplete. Nothing changes.
Oh, man. You really are annoying, Masayuki. I thought for sure you'd crack once I put your life on the line. I engineered this whole thing just to get at you, and now you're gonna try and worm your way out with a dream? Oh well, it's out of my hands now. But so be it. We'll let chaos decide who lives and dies.
No, that's wrong. It's not chaos. It all comes down to who we believe. If we believe Masayuki, you followed the letter's instructions. If we believe Hanamaki, Ji-yeong did. It's about who we choose to trust.
Once again, we're forced to choose between our two key suspects. It seems there's no other outcome to this trial.
It's all just a coin flip now, is it?
No, it's not a coin flip. This isn't something to be left up to chance. Please, everyone. I know you're all smarter than this. Masayuki has you right where he wants you. He's led us into the exact scenario he described earlier in this trial. He wants this decision to be agonized. He wants you all to despair. We can't get caught up in that. We have to be decisive. This isn't just about the murder anymore. This is about whether or not we allow despair to win. It's up to us to stop that from happening.
Hanamaki spoke with a passion and certainty that immediately swayed the room. I wouldn't blame the others for listening to her. She made good points. This was an ideological battle. It always had been. I wanted despair, Enigma wanted chaos, but it seemed neither of us would get what we wanted. The only thing she was wrong about was my intentions now. I had already given up on forcing a decision. I had accepted long ago that I had no way to win this trial. I knew my only option was to play for a draw, and to do that, I had just one card left to play. Hanamaki.
Oh my god! What is it now?
How did you know the greenhouse was locked?
What? Masayuki, I know you're not stupid. Why are you asking such a pointless question?
How did you know it was locked?
I already said! Kojiro told me. What are you even trying to achieve here? Surely you didn't just forget.
If Kojiro told you, why were you trying to open it when we found the body?
Huh?
If you already knew, why even attempt to open it?
That's another stupid question. Why wouldn't I at least try?
If it was unlocked and you truly tried, it would have opened. What I propose is that you faked an attempt to open it before calling Sonny over, who then successfully opened it and made us believe he was the key. I see no other reason why you'd have failed to open the door the first time other than intentional misdirection.
What? What are you even saying anymore? That's not an argument. I tried to open it and I couldn't. It's that simple. This whole time, all you keep doing is making statements that could be true. Where's your evidence? You just keep manipulating the facts to make these twists and turns that amount to nothing but further confusion. All you do is try to manipulate us. I'm sick of it. I'm trying to help everyone. I'm trying to save everyone. Can you just buzz off already and stop trying to get in my way?
Ultimately, Hanamaki's outburst was the sad culmination of my grand strategy. I made a good point, but the intent was more to frustrate than to prove anything. I had already sensed the pressure getting to her as we approached the end of the trial. All I wanted was to give her a little push to force something like this from her, an outburst that would undercut some of her reliability and perhaps earn me a few more votes. It was my best chance at staying alive, and staying alive was my only method left to continue my crusade of despair.
Sorry. I got a little carried away there. Let's begin the vote.
All right. This is it then. No further objections?
No. All that needs to be said has been said.
Sadly, I only had one big plot twist planned.
It's still down to just Hanamaki and Masayuki, right?
All the same evidence applies to them. How are we supposed to choose?
That's just the thing. I really have no idea.
That's fine. If we all just vote with our guts, I'm sure things will work out okay. However things turn out, we did our best, didn't we? Thanks to Masayuki's pushing, we finally have the whole truth. We've been given our best possible shot at voting right. That's all we can ask for.
Well then, without further ado, it's voting time!
The buttons finally lit up. Without a word, we all made our votes. The room seemed to rumble with tension, the air growing uneasy. The atmosphere around us seemed to wobble and distort. It was a sickly feeling for the others, though I stood calm until the very last moment.
The votes are in, and I can reveal that...
I inhaled sharply. There was a high chance that I would die here. I had largely come to terms with it, but even still, death is a profoundly intimidating thing. I did not fear it, but I didn't relish to look it in the face either.
The ultimate enigma has received 1 vote. Masayuki Daiju has received 5 votes. And Hanamaki Hanagata has received 9 votes.
What? No. There has to be a mistake. Do a recount. Check again.
Nope. These are the final results. Hanamaki Hanagata, you are the blackened.
Fuck. No. It's over! Just like that? All because of some stupid dream? No. All this happened because I happened to have a shower at the wrong time? How is that fair? How?
Hanamaki covered her face with a hand, hyperventilating into it. It was off-putting to see her like this, crumbling at the seams. Her usually well-kept appearance began to unravel, face cracking and tearing with despair.
32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 64, 64, 64, 64, 64.
Hanamaki.
Wait, Hanamaki? But I thought...
Aw, I got it wrong.
But how? I'm confused! She's not... How? Why?
Hanamaki trembled, an eye poking out from between her fingers and falling onto me. Her rapid breathing halted. She was awash with some kind of acceptance. The Queen Bee was noble, even in defeat.
How about you explain it, Masayuki? You've had it all figured out from the beginning, haven't you?
From the beginning is generous, but... Okay. I'll explain it all, down to the last detail. Hanamaki Hanagata killed Kojiro Nakusawa. Here's how it happened. Our story begins with Kojiro himself. Desperate not to lose his career as an idol being trapped on this boat, he devises a plan for a murder on the very first night. He already has the perfect location for it, an unlocked greenhouse on the off-limits deck. This inspires him to create a locked room mystery. To do this, he perpetuates a lie that the greenhouse was locked. From there, he sets up his mystery by sawing off a branch to act as his murder weapon. He then uses a shovel to bury the branch and disguise its location. This achieves two things. 1, it keeps the branch out of sight from his victim when he attacked them, and 2, it keeps it hidden when we discover the body, helping to further the other illusion Kojiro was creating. The illusion that his victim's death was a suicide. To do this, he ties a noose that he himself would eventually hang from. With the crime scene set up, it comes time to lure out his victim. His intent was to kill the ultimate enigma, but in order to isolate them, he would have to separate them from their roommate. To achieve this, he decides that he'll use 2 letters, one for Enigma and the other for their roommate. He has Mamiko write a letter to Enigma that calls for them to come to the greenhouse, using leverage over what happened to Kokoro to lure them out. The other letter he writes himself and sends it to the roommate. It summons them to the rec room and asks them to wait there for information on Kokoro's attack, something he knows will appeal to them. He delivers the letters with staggered timings, one at 11:30 requesting the roommate to come to the rec room in 10 minutes and wait there for another 30. Later, at 11:45, after the roommate has presumably left, he delivers the second letter. This one calls for his target to come to the greenhouse at midnight. These timings provide a secondary benefit too. Since Kojiro set the crime scene up in advance, he'd be able to quickly execute the murder and then head downstairs to make his meeting in the rec room. This would put both events so close together that he'd have an alibi for around the time of the killing. Unfortunately, the Enigma is the one to receive the rec room letter. Sensing an opportunity for further chaos, they pocket it and wait for another. All the while, their roommate is in the shower, unaware of this. Ultimately, this unfortunate timing is the reason this entire case happened the way it did. If their roommate hadn't been showering at that moment, they'd have likely seen both letters and none of this would have happened. But such is chaos, and chaos is a cruel thing. Enigma takes the rec room letter for themselves and heads out on its orders, leaving behind the greenhouse letter, which their roommate then takes for themselves and follows the instructions of. The 2 recipients head off to their respective destinations. The killer arrives at the greenhouse, and Enigma at the rec room. Kojiro is already lying in wait. Knowing what we know, it's safe to assume he was waiting to ambush them with the branch in hand. His target arrives. Although not the target he's expecting, he makes an attempt to surprise attack them, though it's unsuccessful. A scuffle breaks out, ending with Kojiro being disarmed and shoved backwards through the greenhouse wall. He falls, the glass shattering and embedding itself into his back. He also hits his head on the hard deck, creating a head wound. With Kojiro lying injured on the ground, the killer followed him through the broken glass, tearing their pajama pants in the process, before they raise the branch and finish him off. This is what causes his neck to be broken. Knowing they had just made an extremely loud noise, the killer leaves Kojiro's body and quickly hatches a plan to cover up their actions. They remove their suspiciously damaged pants and head straight to the kitchen and shatter a glass, a way to disguise any shattering noises potentially heard earlier. This also gives them a natural excuse to grab the broom, which will become essential to their cover-up later. As an additional benefit, they're seen by various other parties, including Harold, who shatters another glass and further obfuscates the timeline of events. This works out conveniently to give them an alibi. Another way it works out for them is my presence. Upon my arrival, they see my jacket and are inspired to frame me. To this end, the killer borrows my jacket. Upon returning to the scene of the crime with the broom, they sweep the shattered glass into the greenhouse, in order to sell the idea that the greenhouse was broken into, not out of. They also tear scraps from my cardigan, creating confusion regarding the fabric on the glass. Finally, they make their most explicit attempt to frame me, writing my name behind Kojiro's body as a fake dying message. Their job done, they presumably wash off the broom in the pool, pick up their discarded pants, and return to bed in their room. Meanwhile, the Enigma realizes that the sender of the letter was a no-show and returns to the room, where they find their roommate, who has clearly turned the tables on the killer, asleep. This makes everything click for them, and they realize the two letters are now a powerful tool for creating chaos. They know that so long as everyone in the trial is intelligent enough, we'd eventually reach a conclusion where these letters would be pivotal evidence, and that they can frame whoever they wanted by just planting these letters correctly. They choose to frame me. However, that doesn't change the truth of this case. The real killer is none other than you, Hanamaki Hanagata.
Yeah. You got it. That's pretty much how it all went down.
In the end, it was surprisingly simple, huh? We made this trial so much more complicated.
There's only one thing I don't understand.
Feel free to ask. It's over for me. There's no reason for me not to answer now.
Why?
It was self-defense, as you surmised.
No, why did you finish him off? After you knocked him through the greenhouse wall, he was no threat. Why go all the way and kill him?
I'm about to tell you all something I probably shouldn't, okay? I didn't want to reveal it to any of you, but it's better for you to know than not to. In the outside world, the bees are dying. At an extremely rapid rate, bee populations are crashing. Just before I joined the UTCP, I was called into a meeting about it with several governments and leading ecological organizations. As the ultimate apiarist, I'm one of the only people they thought would be capable of undoing the damage such a mass loss of pollinators was doing to the environment. Unfortunately, my skills weren't enough. That's why I joined the UTCP. I thought I could improve here, and maybe when I got back, I'd have a chance to solve everything.
Hold on! The bees are dying out? All of them?
There's been a 30% decrease worldwide already. It's been kept largely under wraps, and with everything else going on, the last thing we needed was more chaos.
No, that's a disaster! A mass ecological disaster! Do you know what that could lead to?
A tragedy. Perhaps the most awful tragedy in human history. Total environmental collapse.
Hold up! That's basically the fucking apocalypse!
First, it'd be all the bees. Then there'd be no pollination, so we'd lose the majority of plants. Then with the plants gone, there'd be nothing for the animals, and therefore nothing for us. Food becomes scarce, people start to starve. What follows next is total societal collapse.
You're telling us it's the end times out there, and we're stuck on this damn boat?
What the hell? Did you know about this?
Me? Why would I have that kind of insider info?
So, you did it to save humanity?
You make murder sound so noble, Kokoro. But yes, when I saw Kojiro there on the floor, I hate to admit it, but I didn't see a person. I saw an opportunity. A chance to get off this boat and get to work on stopping that awful tragedy from occurring. In that moment, it seemed so simple. One life for potentially millions.
But you still killed a man.
I did. I'm not trying to justify it. I'm ready to accept whatever punishment comes my way.
That still doesn't quite make sense. If it was so spur of the moment, why did you follow the letter at all? It had no leverage over you.
Masayuki, we don't need to know that. She said her piece and she's ready to accept her punishment. Let's leave it at that, okay?
Thank you, Kokoro. Before I go, I just want to say to all of you, I'm so...
From somewhere in the distance, a shackle on a long chain came bursting forth, grabbing Hanamaki by the throat before she could even finish her sentence. We didn't realize it, but the execution was about to begin.
Enough talking! It's game over for you, Hanamaki Hanagata!
From the ground, a large red button rose up to Monopengu's seat. He produced a large gavel from nowhere. He raised it, ready to strike.
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
Monopengu brought the hammer down swiftly, smashing it down onto the red button. It was then that the execution began. Hanamaki was dragged away into the darkness by the chain around her neck. From there, it was all a blur, a state of unreality. The next thing we knew, we were standing on a platform overlooking a large vat of an orange substance. Honey. It sat like a block, so thick it was hard to tell it was even a liquid. We waited for a moment in horrific anticipation. We all knew this was to be an execution, but we didn't know just how it would play out. I'm sure each of us imagined countless awful nightmares of what would happen next. But the reality was still so much worse. From above, Hanamaki Hanagata descended, hung like a marionette by the neck. She scratched at her collar, fingernails finding only hard metal. Her legs dangled beneath her, feet finding only air. Her throat strained for breath, finding only scarce oxygen. It was an awful sight, but the worst was yet to come. The collar snapped open, dropping her straight down into the viscous liquid below. Immediately, she was waist-deep, legs kicking beneath the surface, battling through the honey as she struggled to stay afloat. She thrashed, the honey like glue holding her movements back as she desperately attempted to keep her head above the liquid. Her arms beat at the surface, only for her clothes to stick to the sugary substance and further restrict her movement. More and more of her body began to disappear beneath the honey, growing less and less visible as she was swallowed bit by bit. Her legs and feet were no longer visible. Her upper body was now sinking below, leaving only her head and shoulders exposed. She stretched her neck to try and keep her head above it, but even her hair was in the fluid's grip now, preventing her from doing anything but fruitlessly strain her already exhausted muscles. There was no hope now. Truly, there never was. Honey isn't like water. The energy required to move through it, to battle against its sticky grasp and push through its thick, viscous body, was simply more than a human could handle. All struggling amounted to was delaying the inevitable. With the last of her power, she reached a hand up, as if begging for someone to take hold of it and pull her to safety. We were too far to even dream of aiding her, but still her hand dangled there, even as her face began to disappear beneath the liquid. She screamed with the last of her breath just before she went under. Although the honey was thick and stagnant, it still flowed into her open mouth as she sank under, flooding her throat and stuffing her airways. She couldn't even cough it up as it stuck to the edges of her windpipe. It didn't take her long until her entire trachea was awash with it, silencing her completely. I had never imagined someone could drown in complete silence, but as her lungs were packed with that heavy liquid, there was sick quiet. All of our breaths were held as we heard her thrashing come to a halt, just one hand raised, stones still above the honey. The last signs of Hanamaki Hanagata before she fell beneath the surface entirely. Never to speak, nor to breathe again. We couldn't even see her body by the end. It was like she had been erased, her entire existence silenced, as if she was never even here.
That's all for today's trial, folks. You are now free to take the elevator behind you and return to the deck. So, if you want to stick around and despair a little longer, I'm more than happy to let you do that.
I was finally able to take my eyes off of the execution grounds and take stock of my classmates. Harold had long since fallen unconscious. No one even noticed him collapse to the floor. Erica was already leaving, clutching herself by the shoulders. She breathed sharp half-breaths inward, stopping herself from hyperventilating. Jim also went straight for the elevator, teeth grit and fists balled. I couldn't see his face under his hat, but I could imagine his expression. Pure rage. Yelena also moved quickly, pale as snow.
Sonny, come on. We're gonna miss the elevator.
Sonny was borderline catatonic, uncharacteristically silent. His entire world clearly shaken by both Hanamaki's revelation and death. Jackie tugged at his arm, like a child urging their parent to follow.
Sonny, we can't just stay here. Let's go.
He eventually followed, though his 1,000-yard stare never left the honey pit. Marcus left early too, hiding his face and clinging to the wall with each step toward the elevator. The Enigma was the final member of the first group, leaving with a shrug and these words.
Well, guess it was always gonna end up this way. At least I tried.
When the elevator left, Jiang Xiao snapped out of a trance she was in. She was near the front, still staring deep into the pit, body shaking with some form of excitement, though I dreaded to ponder what kind.
I'm gonna get the next one.
She remembered herself, quickly rushing off and entering the elevator. Drew Honeywell also remained behind, kneeled in the corner, head hung low.
Guys, the elevator is here. Drew, are you coming?
Don't interrupt me, woman! I'm praying for her.
Oh, I'll just go up on my own then.
Lord, I beg of you to judge this woman not by her actions, but by her intentions. The temptation of sin is strong, and it is my regret that she could not be stronger, but damnation is a cruel thing for a noble soul. Allow her a chance for redemption. Make the road long and painful, but allow her at least that chance. As your humble servant, I beg this of you.
With his prayer completed, Drew left as well. He also took the elevator alone. Finally, it was just me, ji-yeong, Kokoro, and Mamiko. We all remained still, not out of horror or grief, but because we all had something to say, but no clue how to say it. Ji-yeong was the one to act first in the end.
I don't get it, Masayuki.
Don't get what?
I don't understand why I chose to trust you.
That's not something I can answer for you.
I don't expect you to. In the end, I don't think there was a real reason anyhow. I just went with my gut.
And what did your gut say?
That in some twisted way, you only want what's best for us. I don't understand how or why, but I want to. And someday I will.
Ji-yeong found resolve within himself. He didn't need my approval. It was frustrating to hear that he had now redoubled his efforts to understand me. I wanted even more for him to give up, though it seemed now that would be off the table entirely. With that over, I tuned into the other conversation happening in the room.
Mamiko, are you okay?
No. How the fuck would I be okay right now?
Sorry, I didn't mean it like that.
It's been a lot.
I know, you've been through so much. Everything with Kojiro.
Ugh, don't even bring him up right now.
For what it's worth, Mamiko, I don't think he was gonna frame you. I know Masayuki proposed that theory, and it was convincing, but I don't think he had it in him. He needed to differentiate the letters, but it's like ji-yeong said, he cared about his fans. A lot. If it came down to the trial, I don't think he could have done something to make you hate him. After all, he considered losing his audience worth risking his life for. I figured he'd have risked getting caught if it meant he didn't let you down.
Thanks, Kokoro. I'm gonna grab Harold and go.
Mamiko left Kokoro, a somber look on her face. With her immense strength, she lifted Harold's unconscious body and headed for the elevator, passing me as she did.
Just so you know, I didn't vote for you.
Thanks. Mamiko and ji-yeong left on the elevator, carrying Harold between them. Once again, it was just me and Kokoro Uehara.
Congratulations, Masayuki. I guess it all worked out for you in the end, huh?
What are you talking about?
Huh? You won the trial, right?
Won? How can anything here be called a victory for me? If anybody won here, it's you.
Masayuki, I really don't understand.
Hope won this trial. I know it seems like everyone is in despair right now, but this is a shallow, false despair. One that'll pass. One that will ebb away and give a greater hope a chance to return. I haven't won in the slightest. The cycle of hope and despair is continuing, and I was powerless to stop it. And it's all because of you. You made me step into this trial. Made me the person everyone believed in. Forced me into becoming an object of hope for them. You encouraged them to give me a chance, and when they did, they were rewarded. Because I and only I could guide them to the truth. I didn't even realize it, but the closer I got to what I thought was despair-ridden tragedy at the center of this case, the more and more I was fostering their trust in me. Their hope that I was a good person. I only realized it when we got close to the final vote. It was like you said, if they voted wrong, we would all die. There'd be no chance for despair. But if they voted correct, they'd be vindicated for their trust in me. Rewarded for their hope. I was powerless from the very moment I decided to cooperate. You trapped me in your web and slowly enclosed it until I had no choice but to play for a draw. Play merely to survive. To give hope victory in this battle just for a chance at winning the war. And all along the way, more little losses. Ji-yeong trusts me completely now. All my efforts to dissuade him have gone to waste. Even my attempt to unmask Marcus as your attacker was totally negated. No one even gave him a second look after you asked everyone to move on. Every move I made was totally countered. Hope has overcome despair at every turn in this trial. So do not congratulate me, Kokoro Uehara. Congratulate yourself. You've beaten me. Thoroughly and completely.
I think you're giving me a little too much credit.
Am I? Don't play the fool, Kokoro. How much of this did you have thought out?
None of it.
Just what?
I guess. I was tricking you a little when I first got you on our side. I knew I could use your own logic against you. And obviously, I couldn't just let despair win in the end.
Kokoro pressed her fingers together, unable to meet my eyes as she confessed to her manipulation. I couldn't stand to look at her anymore. She truly was the living embodiment of everything I hated, everything I existed to stand against. I turned away and entered the elevator. I think she joined me, but I didn't turn to face her. I just stared into the darkness, damning myself, damning her, damning this whole trial. Hope had won, but hope inevitably begets despair. I would have another chance, but I knew there would be nothing but more suffering before that chance came. When I consider that suffering now, it would have been better had Hanamaki Hanagata survived and the rest of us perished.
Danganronpa.
Danganronpa.